entire case. Getting off the bus, getting screamed at right away by a drill sergeant, threatening to flip over our racks every morning. It was definitely an experience. And after getting past the first couple of days, doing the politics stuff, which I've never been really a big part of in my career as a high school student and growing up. But I did run for judge in municipal court. I did win that one. I did win that one election, and it was definitely an experience. You know, dorming with people from all over the state, learning how they grew up, how they were brought up in the schools, and I'm still having this connection with them today. So it's definitely a great experience. This program is very prestigious, and I've learned a lot of discipline, a lot of ways that the state government actually ran, and it's just a great opportunity. And thank you very much for having me be here.
But certainly the skills that you've learned put you light years ahead as you look to go to college, light years ahead of anybody that you're going to be competing against. And as you've probably heard, you know, when you go to file for West Point or a lot of other colleges, there's two questions they ask. Are you an Eagle Scout or are you a Boy State attendee? Because those two things put you at the top of the shoulders and heads and shoulders above all the others that you're going to be competing against. So these are just words on paper, but the actions that you took in Boy State and what you do and use that in the future, those are the things that matter. So congratulations.
Amen.
And Steve Stern already has more money than me, so his prize.
It's in the majority.
Exactly. Oops. Now, anyone else? We had one assemblyman, right? Who
No, I was
gotcha. Any other state officials? No?
No.
Okay.
Lupinacci, Councilman Cuthbertson, Councilman Joan Serval, and Councilman Smith.
It's truly an honor to be here this evening to congratulate all the Boys State graduates and all their parents, and to thank Charlie and Dennis and the American Legion for all their hard work for really recruiting the students over the past several years from school districts that usually didn't send representatives. I had the privilege of going up 4 years ago up to Morrisville when I was in the State Assembly, and I was a guest speaker. And even though I didn't attend Boys State when I was in high school, I got to see the interaction. The Marines made me get up at 5 a.m. too, and I was a guest speaker that day. There was about 1,000 participants that year, and I was sweating. I'm usually fine speaking in front of a crowd, but I said, how am I going to keep 1,000 boys that are rising seniors interest for 20 minutes? But I was able to do it, and it was great interaction. I went to some of the breakout sessions where they peppered me with different types of questions and got to see them interacting. But truly, the education you got, the friendships that you made are going to last a lifetime. And you got to meet everyone from Montauk Point to the Canadian border and got to see how they live their lives. And like you said, you learned a lot about government that you never even knew existed, whether it was a superintendent or people say, what does a town supervisor do? Most parts of the country were called a mayor. But, you know, in terms of what you got to experience and speak about and all the various positions that you got to run for. So I know, because I got to see it firsthand, that you guys had an excellent time. You make friendships that are going to last a lifetime, and the knowledge base that you got is going to bring you to higher successes in the future. So on behalf of the town of Huntington, just want to congratulate you. Keep up the good work this year, your senior year, and we expect a lot from you. And now I'll hand it over to Councilman Cuthbertson.
Thank you, Supervisor. Unlike the Supervisor, I did not get to experience it, but I experienced it vicariously through my son, who's a junior in college, and who this post was kind enough to allow to go to Boys State and sponsor him. And I can tell you, I got the phone call you don't want to get from Boys State and the phone call you do want to get from Boys State. First phone call, now I told my wife he couldn't have his phone. He had to leave it at home. She didn't believe that her darling son could be without a phone. So we got the phone call that he had been caught with his phone and that they were taking that away. So we knew he was incommunicado. And then 3 days later we got another call. I said, what could he have done now? I think we're going to have to go upstate and pick him up. And it was to ask if he had been nominated to run for Boys Nation and to make the commitment that if he were to win, which he did not, that he would go to Washington and participate. And Charlie mentioned the federal component of this. There is an iconic photo of John F. Kennedy in his office greeting Boys State, staters from Boys Nation actually, and Bill Clinton is the person he's greeting. So if you don't think that this program has a tremendous impact, that picture tells 1,000 words. And I will tell you, the other day I was with Chief Bill Ricca, and apropos to Assemblyman Reyes Point, his son is either a West Point grad or currently at West Point, and someone heard that and said, I would love to sit down with you, Chief, and understand how, my son might be in the running for something like that. And the first thing off his tongue was, hey, Boys State, you got to look into that right now, because that's critical, and it really is, because the leadership that you learned and the civics and citizenship lessons that you got really transcend. So congratulations to you all for being a part of it. It's great reliving it, what my son went through all of you, and I'm glad you had such a great experience. So congratulations.
I did not live through this vicariously. I actually attended Girls State by just growing up in my house, being raised by a retired lieutenant colonel who used to come into my bedroom and toss a quarter on my bed, and if it didn't bounce and if I didn't have proper hospital corners, I was promptly sent outside to pick up the grass clippings and other things. But in any case, my skirts had to be a certain length, but I really learned to appreciate structure. And there are a couple of things that I did hear from you tonight, such as a love of government that I so relate to. Being in government, I do love government. I love solving problems, and I think that that's what you were faced with during your experiences. The other thing that I heard that I really much relate to is having to go outside of your comfort zone. And that is something that I've recently experienced being in the position that I'm in, that you learn that when you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, you become better than you were. You gain certain knowledge and confidence that you did not have prior, and it never stops throughout your whole life. So I just want to tell you, I'm very proud of all of you. I want you to continue to keep pushing outside of your comfort zone so that you can become the best best version of yourself that you can be. So congratulations.
I would like to congratulate each of you, but to the parents that are here, there's a phrase I love. It's you can't fake good kids, and there's a lot of truth in that, because seeing these boys, how they're raised right, you can't fake that, and it's a compliment to each of you as parents, and you should be proud of yourselves. And boys, if you like Morrisville, this place in South Carolina, tropical palm trees, beaches called Paris Island. You'll love it. Balmy weather. Very welcome. Look into it.
I'd like to mention, Supervisor, if you don't mind, two things tonight. Councilwoman Joan Sergel and the Receiver of Taxes, Jillian Garthman, are both members of this post. And pretty soon we're going to have Councilman Smythe as also a member. He's an ex-Marine, and we're working on him. hasn't agreed yet, but we're hard to overcome. So, Supervisor, if you do.
Thank you.
Wait, can we just get the receiver of taxes and?
We'll do our own, that's all right. Okay, everybody else? Bob, are you taking a picture? You got it?
So just by way of introduction, my name is Tom Donnelly, and I represent a small portion of the Greenlawn community along with legislators Don Spencer and Sue Burrow. So it's an honor to be here. This is a really, really terrific program. I'm kind of just listening to everybody else speak before me. With all the discourse in our nation today, I think this gives us great hope for the future of tomorrow. And just another round of applause for all the people. Lastly, I think we all could certainly always say this, that particularly as young folks, that we owe these gentlemen here a debt of gratitude that we can never repay. So to all of you, thank you for your service. The boys who participated, job well done. So I have certificates for all of you, from Legislator Spencer, Berlin, and myself. Order.
Summer help and years. Days before my daughter because I know that the experience is tremendous. I'm also reminded as we just observed we just observed the anniversary of 9/11 of the importance of our veterans and our servicemen and the importance of community service. So I say a big thank you to each of you in that regard as well. I say to these young men who have undertaken an experience that was uncharted to you, unknown, and significant in terms of sacrificing and going and all those tangible things that you were going to subdue without. I commend you. Many of you talked about working or operating outside of your comfort zone. And that is probably the primary force that moves your moving forward, doing something tremendous. While you don't want to consistently be outside of your comfort zone, if you can substantially work in that direction, you will do great things. Each of you are extraordinary in your own right. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been picked for this exemplary opportunity. Use the skills, use the experiences, use the insights that you gained by working with people from different perspectives. Where you might say, as Joanne talked about, the lieutenant clerk from another part of the state that had other concerns and considerations they had to accommodate. But remembering that with all of those differences, all the things that keep shape us, make us different. Our core values are things that are important to each of us girls. So as you strive to do good things for yourself, for your community, and the community at large, know that your vision for yourself and the community needs to always be inclusive, and that you have the skills to make a difference. So I wish you the best success in your life. I can't wait to see where your journeys take you. You have a friend in the tax receiver, and I hope, when you're in town hall for various things, you stop by and say hello. We have seasonal opportunities too, and, I know Joanne said she had some, but, our office is fantastic, we get lots of snacks.
18 Boys and Girls State Program for our boys and girls. Beginning next month, October, we'll start the solicitation of list of names from all the various high schools we work with to start the 2019 program. So we'll be out, as Joanne said, we'll be banging on doors locally, we'll be bringing telephones, and hoping we can send as many kids as we have, possibly even more kids next year. So, thank you.
Two fellas that make this program possible for this post, Charlie Armstrong and Ed O'Shea.
Woo! All right, Charlie.
Shoulder to shoulder.
They listen.
And if you go into the line,
That's what Andrew says. Everybody look right here. Thank you.
And imagine the expense to this post to send 21 people to the Boys and Girls State this year. The boys are at the cost of $450 each, the girls at the cost of $525 each. So if these two fellas didn't raise all of that money, we'd have to cut way back on it. So
Why do the girls cost more?
I can answer that.
What's that about?
because the bus has to go to Rochester, and we can't turn the driver around in one day, he has to stay over. So the extra expenses is in the pay of the driver.
And there's less on the bus.
Okay.
There's only 23 girls go from Suffolk County each year. It's got a cap on it.
Got it.
But when you talk to your friends and neighbors about this program, tell them how important it is to send these kids away each year. And if anybody is so inclined to send a donation to this post or any other post that entertains Boys and Girls State candidates, please do. Please do. Your money goes, every dollar, to the program it's designed for when you send it to the American Legion. Not a dime is taken for anything else. So, thank you all for coming tonight, and if you'd like, you're welcome to take your children to go home.
Yeah, I'm just going to the back.